Podcasting from somewhere in the San Francisco Bay Area, the birthplace of Bruce Lee, the iPhone, and the bendy straw. This is Ruel's Running Podcast, a podcast about running, health, family, play, and an NSNG lifestyle. And now, here's your host, Ruel.
There was a dream a million miles away. There was fire in
Amazon.com. You know, I won't be surprised if more and more stuff that I shop for, buy, and get shipped to my home comes from Amazon. It's just a reality, right? And if this is your reality, go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon banner to get to Amazon. Why am I asking you to do so? Well, it is a no-cost-to-you way, if you like listening to Ruel's Running Podcast. It is a way that you can help the show out without spending more than you've already spent while shopping at the good folks at Amazon.com. So help us out. Go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon.com site, and shop, connect, and enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to Ruel's Running. This is Ruel. How's it going? It's been a while, and it always seems to feel like more time is passing in between episodes. But guess what? The summer is gone and done. All the kids are back in school, and the new reality is now the current reality, and we're getting into the swing of things, the flow of things. I know not everybody has the same sort of schedule as far as when kids get back into school. I know somebody who has their kid attending school later this month, but all my kids are in classes right now, and it's great. And I have some time to, refocus and get this podcast rolling. So I wanted to mention Amazon. Don't forget to go to the site ruelsrunning.com and click on the Amazon banner. It's somewhere there. You may have to scroll around and click around to find it. And the reason why that it sounds like a mess is because the site is a mess at the moment. I'm currently reworking the website. So, it needed a facelift. I wanted to change the underlying framework that allows me to update and do cool things on the site. So I've put that in place, and now it's just a matter of reorganization and cleaning up and all that good stuff. So go there anyways. And so the site kind of looks like junk. Speaking of junk, go to you want to check out a really good podcast. Go to 10 Junk Miles. If you come here and you're thinking there's going to be a whole lot of run chat, and found out that there really isn't, and you really want to digest more run related content, check out 10 Junk Miles. It's a friend's podcast. It's way more involved with running, and it's way more successful, right? Unlike this podcast. But yeah, and if you like NSNG, 10 Junk Miles has a Facebook group for 10 Junk Miles NSNG. So it's primarily the fans of 10 Junk Miles who are also following NSNG, but kind of want to stick around within the 10 Junk Miles community. So there's that. Check that out. And speaking of NSNG, if you want to join the NSNG Facebook main group with over 18,000 members, you can't just go to Facebook and ask to join. Why? It's because that Facebook group has been made a secret group a while back. in the attempts to reduce the amount of spam and false member joins and whatnot. It got switched to a secret group. Later, as an admin, or the admins, I'm one of them. There's a Mark Thompson, Lonnie Beecham, and Tallulah Tepper, who are also the other current admins. And, we got together and we decided to make this change, and then we did it. And then later on, we realized how it impacted its searchability on Facebook and search engines. So we wanted to flip things back. But Facebook, when you have a Facebook group that is over a certain amount of members, they won't give you the ability to switch back from a secret group to a closed group because, there's just privacy reasons. I think what they feel is if you get those many thousands of people in place who have an understanding that the group is secret, they don't want sort of the veil to be opened under them or around them without them really knowing, because not everybody's going to be on every time. So you can imagine, and it's kind of lame losing that flexibility. But so as a workaround, what I'm saying is you can go to facebook.com. I believe it's /Vinnie Tortorich NSNG. That is searchable. We consider that the admins or the community considers that as the lobby, right? And the main group is the main home, the main building, the main structure. So you join the lobby group, which you can find searching on Facebook, and you'll see once you read the group description that it isn't the main group, but it's where you can ask an admin to add you into the main group. So that's how we currently are working that, so that folks can find Vinnie Tortorich's NSNG, and then from there, get into the big crazy group. So that's that about NSNG. What else is going on? I had done a bit of running, just a tiny bit. I'm really a tiny bit. Recently, and I'll talk about it on another episode. I'll try to get more into it because I want to sort of dedicate that time just for running, so that folks who tune in can be like, okay, he's talking about running again on his running podcast. Let's tune out. How dare he talk about running? So let's see. When was it? Gosh. It was in the beginning. No, we are in the beginning of September. It was the late end of August. I think it was the 27th or something like that, or 28th, or I don't know, whatever Sunday it was. I signed up for a 50K race, the second for the year. Pretty excited. And how I chose it was, I didn't decide that I wanted to do that particular event. I'm really not tuned in yet to what's out there. I just happened to decide that I wanted to find another long run to do. Went on to the ultrasignup.com or ultrasignup.com and poked around, and my current criteria for deciding on an event is it pretty close to home, and is registration reasonable? And I found a 50K run at Mount Diablo, and that is, close by to where I live. It's something where if I'm on top of a hill nearby, I could actually see Mount Diablo. A lot of folks can see Mount Diablo from around here on the East Bay of the Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area. And so yeah, I signed up for that. Pretty cool. Got my wife to buy in, and so it was another one of those events where I have done no training for, but I was excited because somehow in February I was able to pull out completing a 50K without doing any training, or without doing a bunch of training. I did do some stair work, but it wasn't a whole lot. And I did a few short runs, but it wasn't anything focused specific to like running on the trails, getting long runs in, or anything like that. So this time was worse. I really didn't do I did nothing. I did nothing. So I was, setting myself up for some hurt. I was setting myself up for a challenge. On top of that, when I really had the time to think about what I was getting myself into, looking at the course profile, I already know that it's Mount Diablo. I already know there's going to be elevation. But I compared it to the elevation that I had to deal with in last February, and I'm like, oh, look at that. It's not quite double the elevation gain, but it's significantly more. So I'm like, oh, awesome. Let's go see what the temps are, because we've been dealing with a lot of heat here in Northern California, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna go triple digits. So not trained, elevation greater, and a lot of heat, versus February, where it was just a lot of mud and slush and rain. And not a ton of rain, but there had been a lot of rain around it. So a lot of mud and water, and yeah, so it was a totally different end of the spectrum. But I was excited to have the time slotted and set, and the event paid for, and all that. So getting prepared, was, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about what I brought for nutrition and how I approached the thing and how it all ended. Some of you who are friends with me personally know that I did the event and how it ended, how I did. So I'll get into that detail on another episode. But just wanted to put it out there. I did do some running today. It's been a couple of weeks out, probably since then or more. I don't know. I think it's been a couple of weeks, and I want to, get a short run in. I don't have another event lined up. I had talked about it with my wife about doing something else, maybe in November, if I find something. I'm still sort of stuck in wanting to do something pretty local. I don't want to deal with the logistics. I still want to pay attention to what the cost is. So I want to do that, but I need to go back to the mode of just getting more regular runs in, so that I'm better prepared for when I stumble upon an event. If anybody else kind of has gone through that, I'd be curious to know, how you approach things and whatnot. So let me know. Write to me. Send me a voicemail. All that contact information somehow is on the website, and also you can reach me on social. Awesome. So that's what's been going on as far as running. What else has been going on? Aside from my day job, and I don't talk about my day job that often, but I do have a day job. I'm not making a bunch of dollars doing this podcast, but my day job I've been in this career of software testing for quite a long time, and I've touched on it on sort of my bio, if you will, on a website. Basically, I've been doing software testing for a long time. And when you talk about software testing, you're talking about, websites, a lot of websites, and more recently, a lot of mobile apps, and sort of the software development processes, working with a team of engineers and developers and project managers, design people, and doing a little design engineering myself to put automation in place so that some of the testing is not always done in a manual fashion. But yeah, that's what I do, and I've done it for a long time, and I've done it for several companies and industries, so I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. But aside from that, I've been doing a lot of work, in the nighttime and on the weekends, working on Abadam Studios. Abadam Studios is formerly what I used Abadam.com for. Abadam Studios is more of I'm building it up for more of the design stuff that I do. So yeah, I'm building that side up. You can check it out at abadamstudios.com. And I really got to do a better job at show notes, and I'll have to link to a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, like I used to do until I got really lazy or too busy or distracted. But yeah, and so I'm building that up, and while I'm doing that, I'm also working on a couple sites, a couple other sites. So a lot of design stuff going on, and I really enjoy it a lot too. And if you go to abadamstudios.com and check out the About page, I have something written up that sort of talks about why somebody like me enjoys doing things like this, where I'm coming from. So check that out. I'd be interested to know what you think about it. I'm one of those guys, and apparently this is pretty common with other designers, who website design and anything creative, where you do something and you're never satisfied, right? You sort of have this creative flow or disrupted flow, either way you want to put it, but whatever it takes for you to be inspired and create something, and just when you think that you got it where you want it to be, it really isn't. It's just sort of the next sort of spot where you end up creatively. So what'll happen is you build something, you step away, and you come back and you just rework, and and it never really is done, is it? And that's not websites, that's drawing, that's painting, that's anything. From a design standpoint, you could do something for somebody, and do the job for the customer, and they're satisfied, and it's what they wanted, and you're signed off and done. But you come back later on and you look at what you had done for the client, and you start looking at other possibilities, and it's something that can drive you nuts because you don't want to end up spending your time exploring it. Let's take the design that I just signed off on, and let me just start playing around with it and see where else I can take it. I mean, creatively it's fun, but also you got to think about how you're spending your time, because I could spend a whole lot of time working on something just because I want to see it, but it doesn't really do anything for me other than that. I don't end up giving it away free, or I don't, at least I shouldn't, or the customer isn't buying it, or you're not using it. It's just sort of like, okay, this, if anything, it becomes a learning process. Like this, what you're capable of transforming something, and suddenly this podcast has turned into into a different topic. I might have to turn this into a podcast of its own. But if you really thought long and hard about so many aspects in our lives, they're all tied in one way or another. We just are so busy running around that we fail to see the connection. And it was something, so that, that's my quick way of closing off. I've been building up Abadam Studios on top of everything else. And it has been keeping me occupied. And so if anything, it's great because there was a period of time where, I wasn't focusing a whole lot on this podcast because I was in a really dark place. And that was keeping me away. So I'm not in a dark place, and I need to spend more time on the podcast. But, at least I'm not in a dark place, And, and if I lose focus, it's because I've focused elsewhere. That's productive, and that's good for everybody. And I'm sure you guys can relate. You're always on the go. You got to focus on so many projects, life's responsibilities. You don't intend on neglecting or letting certain things drop, but you sort of have to pick and choose which becomes the priority at any given moment, and what you have to sacrifice because you want to, advance certain things and priorities in your life. And right now, I'm in a bright spot, and I want to restructure everything and see where I can take things. That's so vague. I need my coffee. Oh gosh, there you are. Anybody want to take a stab at what I'm drinking? What I'm going to drink? Oh yeah. One more. Oh God. I love it. I love it when I get to a Starbucks. And I don't discriminate. I'm not 100% Starbucks. But I like it when I get to a Starbucks that I go to pretty often, and the staff knows me, and before I even get to the register, they get my attention and they say tall pike, splash heavy cream, and I just give a nod, and I'm good. Then I get to step up, pay for the thing, and feel like I'm made. So yeah, all over the place. Speaking of all over the place, over the course of the summer, had done a ton of stuff, and it got pretty hectic. It got kind of stressful at spots, but that's all gone, and that's all history. Moving forward from there, but had done a lot of stuff with the family. We had done many trips to a place called Gilroy Gardens, where it's basically an amusement park, and I talked about it before, I'm sure. We took a trip to Disneyland, and we got to spend time as a family doing stuff at the park. This year has somehow been the best year for amusement parks for the family, because we tried the annual pass thing, where you get the annual pass at Gilroy Gardens, and it's a tax deductible donation, whatever. For them, we got the annual pass at Disneyland. That's not something we can deduct off of our taxes, but the kids have gotten to a point where they've gotten more interested in a bunch of stuff on either California Adventure or Disneyland, and we've got a good handle of where we want to stay around the park that suits our needs as a family. So we have a good flow when we do these things. So we figured, okay, the kids are good, we know where we're going to be, we're rocking and rolling when we go to the park. Let's test out doing an annual pass, and plan on future trips, and then see where it can take us. And so we've done a bunch of that, and we might not do it next year, but we know at least what we're capable of and what the interests are for the kids, and or we may, who knows. But it's been fun, and previous years I've done video, and I've done vlogs and stuff, and I didn't do a bunch of that this year because I was just taking a break, with so much that had gone on. I needed to just focus on, being with the family, riding through whatever stressful points there were, either if it's at home, career, whatever, and then, just keeping family close, taking care of that. That's always priority. Taking care of myself so I can be around my family, and then, do what I can, do a little bit of the podcast, do a little bit of, building up Abadam Studios, doing a little bit of the design work for clients and whatnot. Just staying alive, just sort of keeping my paces, and so here we are. Awesome. This is all I got for now, because I gotta go. So, if you like Ruel's Running, and I'm glad to put this episode out. It's a short episode, but if you like Ruel's Running, feel free to go back to the archives, check out the old episodes. If you want more running specific episodes, look for those conversations with running friends, and just check it out. And if you like what you hear, why not leave a review on iTunes? I have not gotten an iTunes review in a long time, but that's okay. But if somebody new is listening to this podcast and happens to spend the time to check out other episodes, and you like what you hear, I really would appreciate an iTunes review. And when that comes through, I'll definitely read your review on the podcast. And even if it's a horrible review. So I used to say, leave me a 7-star review, but 7 doesn't exist, so I'll settle for 5. But I really am interested in your honest review. Well, I'm really interested in your review. An honest review is honest. A great review is great, and a lousy rating review, I'll gladly accept and grow from. That's that. And if you like or hate what's going on, but you still want to stay close to what's going on, join the Facebook group, Ruel's Running Podcast. There's a Facebook group you can join. Find it on Facebook, and ask to join. Answer a couple sort of entry questions. Nothing hard. You don't have to study for. And I'll let you in and go from there. I'd love to have you. It's a closed group, so you can talk about, a little bit of the stuff that you don't want to talk about, like pooping and wiping and washing your hands and, putting back your pants on. Oh, I think I got that sequence wrong. But, you get the picture. You can, except for the folks who are currently in the group, you're pretty isolated from the rest of the interwebs, knowing that you wanted to chat about your poop on Ruel's Running Podcast Facebook group. So do that, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Remember, folks, to hug your family, eat something delicious, and go run something. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Ruel's Running Podcast with Ruel. If you like what you just heard, share it with your friends and your enemies. Also, be sure to check out the site over at ruelsrunning.com. This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production. Join us next time for another silly show of Ruel's Running Podcast.